Welcome to Aligned for Success podcast, where we help chiropractors create practices that truly serve their life's vision. I'm your host, Dr. Nikki, and I'm here to show you how to break free from stagnation, grow your practice, and rediscover the joy of why you became a chiropractor to begin with. Whether you're looking to boost your revenue, spend more time with family, or simply enjoy practice life again, you're in the right place. Let's align your path to success. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Aligned for Success. So today, what I want to talk to you guys about is culture in your company, your job, as well as the standards that we keep. And so this actually is going to be a talk that I am presenting tomorrow in real time live for the city of Foley, Alabama. And so Jonathan asked me to come in and speak to them. And so there's a mix of like leadership and then W-2 employees. So it's really like departmentally will include everyone. And as I was going through it, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good for myself. And also I think that this would make a good podcast episode for all of you guys. And so we're going to talk about culture and leadership. But whether we realize it or not, every single one of us, no matter what your job is, we're working inside of a culture every single day. And so culture is actually not your mission statement. And so it's not what's written up on the wall to help as many people as possible. Whatever your mission statement is not your culture. What our culture is how things are actually done when the days get busy, when pressure starts to show up. And most importantly, culture is what happens when no one is watching. And so our culture is really felt. We don't need culture explained to us because we can feel it every single day when we walk into our place of business. You feel it through how other people communicate with you and whether or not following through on tasks and responsibilities actually matter, how mistakes are handled, and most importantly, it is how people are treated when things get hard. Culture is always working even when we're not thinking about it. The part that most people miss, and what I really want to talk about, is that culture doesn't just happen. Culture is built slowly over time by standards. And so some standards are written like, what time are you supposed to be at work? How do we handle this XYZ situation? But most standards in the workplace are unspoken, and they just show up in all of the small moments. So how quickly do we return phone calls? Do deadlines matter? How prepared are we for this day to begin? What happens when someone misses something or something slips? Standards are simply behaviors that get repeated, and what becomes normal eventually becomes our office culture. And so here is a phrase that I want you all to remember. What we tolerate becomes the culture. If being late is tolerated, then late becomes normal. If poor communication is tolerated, confusion becomes normal. If effort goes unnoticed, average becomes the standard. And this isn't about blame. This is truly about awareness, because every organization has a gap between what it says it values and what it actually reinforces. And that gap is what is filled by our standards, or in most places, the absence of them. And so this is why ownership matters. The standard that makes the biggest difference is when we can all step up and take ownership. Ownership is not about doing everybody else's job. It's not about becoming burnt out. It's definitely not about being the one who stays the latest all of the time. Ownership is about taking responsibility for what is already in your hands. And so there is a huge difference between meeting the minimum standards and requirements of a job and owning the role of that job. And so minimum standards, and we have all heard these, we've probably all said this at some point in our life, in our career, in the business that we own. But what minimum standards sound like is, that's not my job. I did what was required of me. Nobody told me I was supposed to do that. Whereas ownership sounds like, I followed up. I made sure it didn't fall through. Don't worry, I handled it. And so ownership only works when it is specific. Every role has things that it belongs to. Ownership starts with these three things. Number one, what you see. Number two, what you influence. Number three, what you finish. So you are seeing things that others don't. And here's the thing, for no matter what position you are in, is that your influence matters so much more than you realize, and that you actually have influence even if you don't think that you do. This is where the trust is truly built. And so I want to leave you guys with this. Where in your role could you shift from, I did what was required, to, I made sure it was handled? And so this goes to leaders too, right? Moving from, not my job, I don't answer texts, I don't take new patient phone calls, I don't do that, to making sure I made sure that it was handled the way that I would want it handled myself. What is one standard that you could raise that would reduce confusion among your team members, not add pressure to the people around you? Here's the thing, guys. Culture is not created in meetings. It's not created in one-to-ones. It is created in the moments of in between. Those small choices of repeated behaviors. How you truly are choosing to show up to your job, and how you're also choosing to teach the people that you work with to also show up to their jobs. And so culture is the standard that we keep, especially when nobody is watching. All right, guys, if this episode resonated with you, share this with someone that you work with, or someone who leads a team, or someone who's an employee. This episode truly is for if you're in a leadership position or if you're not. And if you are in a position to influence standards, I need you guys to remember that clarity builds trust, and ownership changes everything. Guys, we are making a pivot with this podcast, and I can't wait to tell you all about it on next week's episode of Aligned for Success. So make sure you tune in, because a lot of exciting things are happening in and around my life, as well as in the Wealthy Practitioner. And so make sure you tune in next week for a very special announcement about how this podcast will be changing in the future. All right, guys, I thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Aligned for Success. I will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in to Aligned for Success. If today's episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe and leave a review. This helps other chiropractors find their way to practice freedom too. Remember, true success comes from when your practice aligns with your life's purpose. Until next time, I'm Dr. Nikki, reminding you that a thriving practice and a fulfilling life go hand in hand. See you next week.